In physics, there's a well-established principle. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. This idea, known as the first law of thermodynamics, is foundational to every modern science. But what if this principle applies not just to heat, motion, or matter, but to consciousness itself? If thoughts, emotions, and experiences are forms of energy, or at the very least, organized patterns of information encoded in energy, then one must ask, where does that information go once the brain dies? The concept of the Akashic field arises from this very question. Often dismissed as spiritual speculation, it has in fact been rigorously examined in the works of scientists like Ervin László, a systems theorist and former Nobel Peace Prize nominee. László proposes that there is an informational field underlying physical reality, a field of fields, which he calls the Akashic field, or a field. According to his model, this field functions as a cosmic information matrix, recording all that happens in the universe, much like a universal quantum memory. Modern physics already acknowledges that the universe is permeated by invisible fields, gravitational fields, electromagnetic fields, quantum fields that shape the behavior of matter and energy. The quantum vacuum, once thought to be empty, is now understood to be a seething ocean of virtual particles and energy fluctuations. These quantum fields retain coherence and structure and can encode information in non-local ways. David Bohm, a renowned theoretical physicist and colleague of Einstein, proposed that reality consists of two levels: the implicate order and the explicit order. The explicit order is the observable material world, but beneath it lies the implicate order, a deeper, non-local layer of reality where everything is enfolded into everything else, and where information is stored holographically. Bohm's theory aligns strikingly with the Akashic model. If all information is enfolded in the fabric of space-time, it is theoretically accessible across time and space. This implicate order functions as an informational substrate, what mystics would call the Akashic Records. The materialist view holds that memory is a product of neurochemical storage in the brain. But that assumption is being challenged by thinkers like Rupert Sheldrake, who posits that memory may not be stored in the brain at all, but rather accessed via what he calls morphic fields, fields that contain the informational patterns of systems. According to Sheldrake, just as electromagnetic fields organize electrical activity, morphic fields organize biological and cognitive patterns. In this framework, the brain is not the origin of consciousness or memory, but a receiver or transmitter, much like a radio picking up frequencies from a field. If this is true, then death of the brain does not imply the deletion of memory or identity, only the termination of a particular receiver. The signal persists in the field. This aligns with ancient metaphysical views, which have long suggested that all lived experiences, emotions, thoughts, and actions are recorded in an invisible medium, what Indian philosophy calls Akasha, and what modern theorists now call the informed universe. Contemporary information theory has shown that information is physical. Physicist Rolf Landauer famously stated, "Information is physical," and it is now widely accepted that information cannot exist without a physical substrate, a medium that encodes it. But this doesn't mean information vanishes when a system dies. As long as the energy transformation is traceable, the informational pattern persists. This is seen in black hole thermodynamics, where physicist Stephen Hawking initially believed information was lost when matter was consumed by black holes. But more recent work, including the Hawking, Page, and ADS-CFT correspondences, suggests that information is not destroyed, but encoded in subtle patterns at the event horizon, what some call the holographic principle. So if black holes can store information at a cosmic level, and space-time itself can encode memory, it is not unreasonable to postulate a universal field that retains all informational traces, conscious or unconscious. Why would the universe store this information? From a systems perspective, evolution requires feedback. Biological systems learn from trial and error. So too must consciousness. The Akashic field functions not as passive storage, but as an active feedback system, allowing sentient beings to evolve by learning from past experiences, even across incarnations. This is similar to adaptive memory in artificial intelligence, where algorithms evolve based on prior iterations. This model also gives a scientific basis for phenomena often reported by those in altered states of consciousness, such as during near-death experiences, deep meditation, or psychedelic states, where individuals report accessing information far beyond personal memory, visions of past lives, collective experiences, or universal truths. If the Akashic field exists, these aren't hallucinations. They're downloads from a non-local memory field. The Akashic theory is supported anecdotally by centuries of reported experiences from individuals who claim to have accessed it, often spontaneously, during deep meditation, near-death experiences, hypnosis, or altered states of consciousness. These experiences, while subjective, share remarkable consistency across cultures and time periods. They often involve a profound sense of unity with all knowledge or beings, vivid encounters with detailed past life experiences, information about historical events or people that the person could not have known, a feeling of downloading vast amounts of structured, meaningful insight. Famous examples include Edgar Cayce, often called the sleeping prophet, who in trance states accessed detailed information about individuals' health, past lives, and soul trajectories, all of which he attributed to the Akashic Records. Rudolf Steiner, founder of anthroposophy, also described systematic exploration of a universal memory field, which he claimed preserved not only individual life histories, but the evolutionary memory of humanity itself. Contemporary accounts from individuals engaged in depth hypnotherapy, past life regression therapy, and remote viewing experiments often include references to what appear to be Akashic-like visions, coherent, meaningful content that transcends the individual's biographical memory. While such cases are not proof in the empirical sense, they represent a phenomenological data set that is difficult to dismiss entirely, particularly when the content accessed is verifiable or consistent across cultures. Importantly, neuroscientific studies have shown that certain brain states, particularly in theta and gamma frequencies, are correlated with access to non-ordinary consciousness. This lends credence to the idea that there are mechanisms of access that can be cultivated and studied. Rather than contradicting science, the Akashic model complements it, bridging ancient metaphysics with cutting-edge physics, systems theory, and consciousness studies. In this view, your life, your thoughts, and your intentions do not vanish when you die. They are absorbed into the field, part of a living archive of consciousness that transcends time, accessible to those who know how to tune in.